Greetings. I'm going to try to get to the point here, as I've tried to do this video a few times, but, well, for one reason or another I haven't been able to. I'm going to just try to be as succinct as possible. Nonetheless, this is in a similar fashion to my other video, which was showcasing the foil cards featuring the Urza Saga symbol. So every card in this binder, which is entirely full, represents 45 instances, so there are 45 unique cards, and we both have playsets of the foil and non-foil. And, well, why don't we just get started? And so here we have it. And to get right off the bat, the set is basically every card illustrated by Terese Nielsen that appears in a standard set and expansion in the old frame. Now, there is a slight difference which you can probably notice right away, which is, unlike the Urza Saga set, I did not get all of the non-foils signed. And just to bring this up for a close-up, there we go, nice and detailed. This is the card that kind of started this whole thing, and yeah. Anyway, the point is I really like Honor the Fallen, although I'll be very brief in saying that it's not bad, but it's not good, and consequently it's not a card that helps you win, it just helps you avoid losing. So it's strictly, if anything, a reactionary sideboard card at best, even though it's not completely junk. But in saying that, it basically is junk. Nonetheless, I love the art, I love the name, and I love the flavor. I just think everything about it is great. And this is the card that sort of inspired me to do this. However, I will say, I'm a fan of Terese Nielsen's work. I think she's one of the most iconic Magic the Gathering artists of all time. She's definitely one of the greats. And in my dealings with her, which basically just started off me being a kid, sending her my two most beat up Force of Wills to get signed, she's been nothing but a consummate professional, especially when dealing with, fans like myself. So that's all I'm going to say about her. Her art speaks for itself. It's pretty darn good. Some differences, as you can notice right away. I did not opt to get all 45 cards, non-foil play sets signed, which ostensibly is 180 cards. There are a few reasons for this. Number one, it would be pretty gross to go and get 180 cards brand new, freshly signed. Cards already exist to be signed. And number two is that Terese does not sign more than 20 cards, or at least she didn't have more than 20 cards signed at a time by any one order. So if you wanted to get cards signed, you could only send 20. So for me, my initial goal was to say, okay, I'm going to get a single instance of every card signed. However, if I can get more than 25, meaning more than leaving the remainder being equal to less than the required amount that I would have to get signed from her, if that makes any sense, so be it. However, in the process of doing so, as I just showed with this card, this is actually not a normal card. This is an artist proof. And artist proofs, basically, if I could be as accurate as I can, these were cards sent by Wizards of the Coast to the artists, basically to showcase what the card with their art looks like. They were, in this era, sent only of the non-foil cards, and they were generally in quantities of 50. That was the standard. They didn't send more or less. Now, obviously, there is some debate as to that. I mean, when it started, when it changed, all that kind of stuff. there isn't a lot of concrete data on it, but for every card in here, because I wanted to get pre-signed cards, artist proofs were basically the golden ticket, so to speak, and I opted to get 45 artist proofs, so an artist proof of every single card shown in this binder. Now, you will see duplicates, you will see some instances where all of the cards are signed. Not all of them are artist proofs, and sometimes I will have gotten artist proofs due to their basically scarcity in bundles and batches, and that is ultimately what it came down to in this case. So I'll also try to give a very brief analysis of the difficulty of potentially trying to find these artist proofs now, and just kind of highlighting some of the challenges, whether the card it represents are good or valuable and so forth. And I will say, with Honor the Fallen, even though it's a card I personally like, even though I recognize it's basically junk, it should be fairly easy. It was a card that I got from Terese's website, since she does sell artist proofs on there. Whether it's available as of the recording of this video, I have no idea, because I did this many years ago. So, without further ado, and actually maybe what I will try to do is maybe try to prop this up a little bit. I'm just going to use a box here just to, yeah, there we go. That actually looks pretty good. Maybe I'll put that off to the side. What I will do, I don't know if this is going to work so well. No, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. It's too tall. What is a little bit lower that would work? Can you tell I didn't plan this out very well? Yeah, maybe this, just to bump it up a little bit. Do I have another one? Oh, I'd be great if I had another one of those things. Okay, it does not look like I have another one, but anyway. I'm wasting valuable time. So, without further ado, difficulty will be on a scale of easy, medium, or hard. And again, I'll say Honor the Fallen should be easy. As you can see, the next card is Charisma, and what I will say with these old foils is that they really shine. They really, really pop. The colors are, I would dare say, they're stunning, and that's part of the reason why I really like them. Charisma, I don't know, is it a good card? I mean, it's not bad, I guess. It's not awful, but majority of these cards are not great, and that's what I will say. Even if you like an artist, not everything they do is like a home run. And yeah, Charisma is actually great art. It's actually a cool card. I mean, it's 3 blue mana, which is a bit slow and clunky, but this artist proof, I would say, it is a hard. Now, a bunch of these are just the signed ones, and in fact, I believe this one in particular, actually these two, I sent to Terese to get signed, but they're standard. This is an artist proof, and it's funny because you look at it and be like, well, what the heck, is this actually an artist proof? And yeah, it is. Every single initial card of the non-foils is the artist proof. And yeah, I would say it's hard. I don't see too many. I will say that if you want information on how to get artist proofs, I can certainly point you in the direction. If you already know, you know. There's a Discord group, there's a Facebook, or various Facebook groups, and just the last place and the most common place would be eBay. Beyond that, obviously reaching out to the artists themselves would be a good place to start, although when you start to get to old cards like this, you know, you're probably on a very limited time, especially if they are good cards, or popular cards, I should say. Also, there are conventions, magic cons, or just general trade shows, stuff like that. You could probably get them there, but, you know, whether you're going to find your card, I don't know. Moving on, Diplomatic Immunity. I love this card. I think it's great. The artist proof, I would say, is probably also a hard. Had to get it from eBay. The same with Charisma. I got it from eBay. And just to showcase, this is a standard Charisma. I mean, I could go through and pull all the other ones out, but that's what it is. I just wanted to get, generally speaking, one example from each. Diplomatic Immunity, it's the same deal. As Charisma, I got it off of eBay, but it's pretty hard. I haven't seen many in quite some time, so it may be difficult to find. And these were all purchased, actually, I think, separately, just whenever they came up for sale. But these are just standard signed cards. So, moving on, Saprazzan Heir, I believe that's the right name. Not a great card, and I'd say the artist proof, again, unfortunately, is hard. I mean, these are the oldest ones. They are very uncommon, especially the blue ones for whatever reason. The blue mana cards are very, very uncommon. I've seen very few of them, so you might have some difficulty in locating them. For the record, none of those three I had seen on her website for many, many years, so not sure where else you would get them, but other than the three places I already mentioned. And again, if you want more information, just leave a comment below. Intimidation, not a very good card, and I would say it was easy at one point. It was on her website. That's where I got my copy. So that one's a nice change of pace. And Ley Line is the same. I would say Ley Line is not so good. The artist proof I got from her website, so it's also an easy. Same with Rushwood Herbalist. And I will say, for everything we've shown thus far, all the foils are pretty easy to get. They're not expensive, or at least they weren't. I don't know what they are nowadays, but anyway, moving on. One of the few land or mana cards that Terese did, which is Mercadian Bazaar. It's nice. The card isn't really great. This artist proof, the little story behind it is that I was planning to buy it with a batch of cards off of her website, and then it went out of stock. So I just reached out to her and was like, hey, do you actually have any more of these? And she graciously sold me her last copy, which was not listed. So thank you for that, Terese. This is a gold signed regular card, standard card that I got elsewhere. Again, just to sort of showcase it, every single one of these first cards is an artist proof, with one notable exception, and I'll get to that. And this, again, is not an artist proof. It's just a standard card. Moving on. Oops, I'm really mangling that. Stronghold Biologist and Stronghold Machinist are both pretty much the same. I got them both from her website. They should both be easy and not very expensive. Same with Arc Mage. Now moving on to Nemesis. It's pretty cheap, not very good, and should be easy. The same can be said for Troubled Healer and Excavation. Although Excavation I quite like. I really like the artwork. And again, as mentioned, these old foils, they really just have great color to them. I love them for that reason. And I probably mentioned in the other video, I never really gave a crap about foils for a long time. And then later on, they kind of grew on me. Go figure. The artist proof, as I said, if I didn't say for Excavation, should be easy, was on her website. However, we come to a very big block, which is Rhystic Study. And Rhystic Study, the foil was very expensive at one point. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be. Again, I got these years ago, so I don't know what the current prices are, but certainly with it being such an incredibly popular and functional card across many formats, expect to pay a lot of money for it. The artist proof, consequently, is the same. The artist proof is definitely a triple figure card on a good day, and I would say it's hard, not just because of its scarcity, which I would say it is definitely up there, but also there's big demand, and because of that it carries a huge premium, so that's one to look out for. On the other side of the coin, or a similar coin, would be Factor Fiction. And this used to be a really con card in Standard in its heyday. The foil should be reasonably priced, although I would say it's a bit more than others because the card is actually playable. The artist proof, I would say, is maybe medium. Maybe medium. It's on the harder side of medium. But I'm kind of... I digress. Like, I just haven't seen many. And that's the thing. If they aren't on her website, or they weren't on the website, you are really... there's only 50 of any of these artist proofs available. So the pool from which to dip from, the pool from which to gather your resources from, I should say, is very limited. And you have to be patient, and this collection took many years to complete. It was very lengthy for the ones outside of her website. But yeah, Fact to Fiction, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw one. It was a long time ago. And I was fortunate to get the copy. I think I got it from eBay. For what it's worth, I believe I got Rhystic Study off of the Facebook group. Mourning, not a very good card. It's cheap. It's not very usable, and the artist proof should be easy from her website. Kavu Monarch. I'm surprised this card isn't more popular in Commander, but maybe it's not that good. For what it's worth, it should be cheap and should be easy. It was on her website. Same for Barrin Spite, although Barrin Spite I think is pretty good if you play black-blue. Control, discard stuff, it's not bad, but again, it's cheap and it's easy. It was from her website, and the same with Heroes Reunion. Voracious Cobra, the next card, is actually the first artist proof I ever got. I got that off of eBay, but I would say it's medium difficulty. Even though it's not a quote-unquote great card or good card, its artist proof is very uncommon. The art's cool though. It's kick-ass. So this incidentally was the first artist proof I ever got. And as you can see, once I got the artist proof, I didn't bother getting any signed cards or anything like that. It's just like, yep, one and done. However, this guy, Island, this is a hard plus. This, first of all, it's a beautiful piece of art. Terese actually did a German foil alteration where she did the lagoon below the water, and it was stunning. And yeah, if I had the money at the time, I would have loved to have thrown in a bid. But even then, this art is outstanding, and all of the islands actually, I think, from Invasion were quite good. This definitely stands out, and as a result, the card is really popular. The foils are cheap, however, but the artist proof, it was the last one. It was the one to basically seal this collection, and it took many years to find. I knew where one copy existed, so there were 49 others available, potentially, but despite that, still, this is the one, I think, if you are trying to do this set. There's probably a couple, but this is definitely of the top 3 most difficult, if not the most difficult ones you will ever find, and it's a pretty card to boot, so it was definitely worth the wait. But yeah, you got to be patient with these 100%. On the other hand, Heroic Defiance was easy and it's cheap, and as you can see here, these are 2 artist proofs. Again, I had to get some doubles as a result of buying bulk or buying bundles or lots, and it's like, you know what, if I had to get a really, really hard to find card to buy a bunch of other ones, I would do it. And then I ended up keeping some of the doubles as a result of trade bait. However, I haven't gotten rid of them, although I am willing to part with some. Really all I need is one. Moving on, Semite Elder. It's easy, it's cheap, it's not too bad, but it's not that great. This is an interesting card because it is signed M. Nielsen, and I actually sent this to her with some cards to sign, and I sent her a blank one, which was this. And I asked her, and these are just normal cards, these are not artist proofs, there's only one. I asked her, said, is this your signature? And she replied and said, yes, the M is for mother because in the picture, in the art, are her children. So I thought that was kind of a neat little story to include on that. But I don't think she ever signed any artist proofs, like, as you can see here, the artist proof is numbered, whereas the standard signed card is just signed. Oops. Anyway, oops, this little stand is coming up. So moving on, Sinister Strength should be easy, should be cheap. If I didn't mention this, the artist proof for Samite Elder is easy as well. Now we move on to 7th edition, and the 7th edition foils, I'll just be very brief. I think they're really stunning because they were the first core set to receive foil cards, and Wizards took the, I think, brilliant decision to decide to do the foils in a black border, which makes the cards really striking. I think they're generally a little bit more uncommon, so they do carry a slight premium. That is, the foils in general carry a slight premium over many of the other foils shown here. So I don't know what they are nowadays, though. I have no idea what the price is, but nonetheless, we start off with Glorious Anthem. It's a good card. You know, it's not great, but it's seen some play. Again, the price of the foil probably decent, probably still double digits, but I have no idea on how much. The artist proof is definitely on the harder side. I've seen very few. These were from eBay, separate. One was a single instance, or actually no, one was Facebook, the other one was eBay and a bundle. So, and I haven't really seen many other ones since then, like maybe one or two. Delusions of Mediocrity, not that expensive, not that good. The artist proof was available for a time on Teresa's website, and that's where I got the one copy, and then the other one was in another bundle. So I would say it's a medium. It's a medium. There should be some available. Giant Growth, great classic card, really funky art. I like it. The foil is pretty cheap because it's a common foil. The artist proof here, however, is very hard, and I know, again, I have two, but that was because that was one of the bundles, and the other one I actually got from Terese, so definitely difficult. This is one of my few shadow signed normal cards. Yavimaya Enchantress, same sort of deal, maybe pay a little bit more for the foils. The artist proof was available on her website, but don't know about nowadays. So that's yeah, I would say it's easy. Static Orb. Static Orb is a superb card. Her art is probably, I don't know, I think it is the art. So it was a triple digit foil at one point. I have no idea now. Maybe not. Who knows? It is a good card though, so you may expect to see that there is demand. The artist proof is definitely a hard. I've seen very few. This was from eBay. I don't know how I managed to swing number one. Although, actually, I think, no, maybe this was Facebook as well. But these are definitely hard. The Static Orb ones, they're quite uncommon. Wooden Sphere. It's not like some people's collections of alpha cards art. The art is a bit weird, but it is good, and it is undeniably Terese. It's cheap, it's not that usable these days, and the artist proof should be fairly easy. I think it was on her website for quite some time. Jilt from Apocalypse is a card I love to play with, but it's maybe not that great. The artist proof is easy, however. Suppress. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can. Suppress is a double artist card in collaboration with both Terese, or between both Terese and Thomas Mbaxa. Some people will tell you that artist proofs, there were only one batch given to one of the artists, and I think there is some problems with that statement, because you can see with these cards up here, which I will desperately try to focus. So, these are normal cards, and I sent these to both Terese and Thomas to get double signed. This is Teresa's artist proof, which I'll again try to desperately focus. This is Terese's Artist Proof, which is numbered, and it was sent in the same batch as a playset of these. So I had 4 normal cards along with a Terese Artist Proof signed by Thomas and Baxa. Now, this suppress is a Baxa Proof signed by Terese, which I got off of eBay. What I am missing, and what is not shown here, is I have a single signed additional Artist Proof. So this is one of the few ones where I got a second one that is not signed by Thomas and Baxa. What I'm missing is the single signed Baxa Proof. So if there is a card which may trip you up, which may trip people up, I think this might be it, because it is very weird. I confirmed with Thomas Baxa that he had sold them on his website, but he hadn't seen any in many years. And if you go on the web archive, you'll also see that there was a page for it as well. So, something to consider. Gay Skyfolk is a decent card, also from Apocalypse. It's not amazing though, it's just kind of a cheap 2/2 flyer. The Artist Proof, however, is, I'd say medium. Almost probably on the hard side, because I've seen so few. This one I got from eBay. Blessed Orator is cheap and easy. One was from her website, another one was from eBay in a bundle. The same with Luminous Guardian. It's cheap and it's easy. And once more with Master Apothecary, cheap and easy, Repel, cheap and easy, relatively speaking. But Obstinate Familiar represents another interesting part, which I'm going to try to be super brief on. Obstinate Familiar is the familiar of Grim Lavamancer. Obstinate Familiar is basically on the shoulder of Grim Lavamancer. It kind of made for this nice duality. And there is a very nice gentleman out there who basically has probably the most impressive collection in the world of Grim Lavamancer cards and promotional material. I reached out to him trying to find a Obstinate Familiar Artist Proof because I believe he owned about 16 copies. So of the 50, that means there were only 34 other copies. And in fact, I knew where another one was. So there were 33 other copies available, which means the pool of available Obstinate Familiar Artist Proofs is significantly lower than almost everything else due to this other collector. And you know what? I can't blame him. I have no problems with that. So when I found my one, I found it in a bundle. I had to pounce on the bundle, and then this other one came from another bundle where I had to get it. So they were both from eBay, and this is the one I got signed because I thought to myself, man, I'm never going to find this. So this is definitely a hard plus realm, same as the island from Invasion. You might have some difficulty finding it, but you never know. You might get lucky. That's the one thing I'll say with all of these cards is that you can get lucky and find them. Moving on, Nimble Mongoose is actually a really good card. And I will say these are cheap. The foils are cheap. These foils are also still pretty cheap, and I'd say this is a medium. One was from eBay and one was on eBay in a bundle. Grotesque Hybrid was cheap and easy. Enslaved Dwarf, cheap and easy. Sonic Seizure, same deal, cheap and easy. Catapult Master, same deal. Image Crafter is the same deal, cheap and easy. And last but certainly not least is Head Games. Head Games was released in 8th edition, which is quite soon after, but that makes sense because it's a core set and it sort of combines all the cards from the previous recent sets or expansions. And I would say these are hard. I would say this is a hard Artist Proof to find. The 8th edition one is quite common and easy to locate, but this one not so much. And that's basically it. That is the collection here. It took me many years to complete, and I would argue, as I already said, since I'm missing the single sign Baxa Proof, there is still work to be done, but I think for what is represented in the binder here, It pretty much is. And I will say I want to thank both Terese immensely. I want to thank Thomas and Baxon and, all those other people out there who, post about collecting stuff and things like this online. And otherwise, if you have any questions, leave a comment below, and thank you for watching.